One of the things that we wanted to do in this workshop is make sure that everybody is supported in having difficult conversations, and that you have somebody with you who you can work with. So we're going to have this system for this workshop which is called a buddy system, and what this means is that we're going to put you in pairs, possibly with somebody that you know. If you don't know anybody, we can pair you up. And what this means is that you are a little group. You are two people that come together, and that means that if one of you is feeling anxious, maybe you want to take this person with you out of the room and they can look after you, or maybe if you want to go off on your own, that they can stay in the workshop and represent your opinion as they get to know you, or if they feel that, if you feel as a group, as a little buddy, that some people are speaking too much, that then you can say, we feel that there's too many white men speaking, or something like that. So it's really just a simple thing to make sure that somebody's looking out for you for the whole meeting. Okay. It's a project that we've been developing for a few years now, and this is it came from my personal experiences of being in mental health hospitals here in the UK. If you've not been in a mental health hospital in the UK, good. But they are quite seriously underfunded and quite seriously under-resourced, and they can be quite difficult places to be. So I really wanted to think about how we could think about this in a creative way. A few years ago, my doctor wanted me to go back into hospital, and I really didn't want to go back into hospital. So I came up with this idea to change my flat in Hackney in London into a hospital, which I did. And I detained myself in my own hospital for 28 days, and I invited artists to come and spend time with me to get me through this period of being mentally unwell. And after I'd done this project, a lot of people responded to it very positively. So I just was thinking about this and came to the conclusion that this needed to be done on a much bigger scale. So this is where the idea for the Madlove Designer Asylum comes from. And our plan is, this is the first workshop that we're doing around the UK where we are speaking to people with the question, if you could design your own asylum, what would it be like? If you could build your own mental health hospital, what would you have in it? How would it be run? And all those kind of questions that you might think about.
So we're looking at a safe space to go mad. So we're looking for lots of different types of people to contribute. So it doesn't matter if you don't regard yourself as having personal experience of mental health. Still, for you, where would a safe place to nurture good mental health be? And we're hoping to speak to people, all of the different types of stakeholders in mental health. So whether you have personal experience, whether you've been a carer, whether it's your profession, whether it's your kind of academic area, all different people that have got some stake in mental health in the UK.
And then once we've gone and spoken to all these different people, we're then going to create a blueprint for this designer asylum, and then we're going to build it and open it for 6 weeks as a day hospital, and hopefully lots of people will come and use this space, and it can help us to rethink how we think about mental illness and how it can be discovered as a journey, and to support people in that in a less painful way. That's something that's really important for me, is how can mental illness be experienced in a less distressing way and in a more mutually supportive way.
Colin, fresh from James Leadbitter, the vacuum cleaners, amazing workshop, how was it for you?
It was, well, one of the most interesting ideas that it's based on is that there are people taking control, taking responsibility for their own mental health and being supported in writing their own mental health act.
Right.
And so we went through a series of exercises of active listening around what we thought mental health was in terms of the senses, taste, touch, look, feel. What the mental health was in terms of the people that we would choose to have around us in a crisis situation, and what good mental health would look like in terms of building, what facilities it would have, what opportunities there would be, how staff would relate.
Tastes like something sweet, but it's a very simple sweetness, not a kind of complicated recipe. Something straightforward and simple.
So the smell of the sea, the smell of the forest, nature all around. And the songs of the birds and sound of laughter.
Breaking it down, that there should be a feast for the eyes and it should be responding to what that person likes, that we should give ourselves visual treats. And I learned that when you're focused and absorbed on one thing, you can have 90 to 95% concentration, so that can be really, really beneficial. And she started talking in particular about flowers and flower arranging. The smell of flowers is very calming, and that every flower has a significance.
And then the feel of it is the softness of a bed after a hard day's work.
Yeah.
What was the real paradigm shift for you in there then? What was the sort of moment when...
Well, I think the light bulb moment was that thing, as I mentioned at the beginning, about taking ownership. I think probably where it possibly fell down a bit was, how do you care for people that don't want to be cared for? How do you look after people that are in mental health crisis but are unwilling to recognise that they're in a mental health crisis?
So somebody else has to intervene in some way then.
Yeah, that was missing.
That's the difficult bit, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. But there was a real collective sense of wanting to create something real and actual. The energising thing about it was that it wasn't kind of wishy-washy, hippy-dippy kind of flat. It was based in people's real experience.